Welcome here inside the Kingsmen Korner, episode 2. Griffin Leonard here with Coach Joe Hudak. We're going to talk to Preston Hudak later in the episode, but Coach, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to another good talk about what's going on at the Kingsman Baseball Academy.
Absolutely, Griff. I'm excited about this podcast. Excited to let our family members know what's going on, and also some of our fans and supporters, and also hopefully some players that might learn a little bit about us and might want to come and be part of what we're doing.
There you go. Well, talk to me about this weekend because I know you guys had a couple of games. P27 was the big one you talked about on the last episode. How did it all go?
Yeah, we played P27 on Thursday, and then we had a doubleheader on Friday against USC Salkehatchie, a junior college in South Carolina. So P27 on Thursday, they're probably one of the top three academy teams in the country. They've been doing it since 2018, I believe. They have like about 70 players in their program, and their top players are really good. And when we scheduled it, I told Corey Warner, who runs P27, I said, I want to play your premier team. I want to play their best guys just to see how we stack up, right? Every one of their starters are pretty much a Division I commit or a draft, right? So they're really good. And I thought we played really well against them. We lost a game. We had one really bad inning. Outside of that, I thought we played toe-to-toe with them. Our pitchers overall pitched well, except for that one bad inning. I thought we hit the ball pretty well. They threw some good arms at us, and I thought we hit the ball well. We only scored one run, but I'd say we probably hit five other balls that were right on the button. That had they just been a foot or two either way, we'd have scored a lot more runs. So all in all, against them, I was pleased. We lost a game, and never pleased about losing. But the fall is a learning experience for us, right? Teaching and learning. And I think we found that we still got some stuff to work on, but we also found that, we can hang with one of the best teams in the country. And so overall pleased with that. Friday, we played Salkehatchie. They're junior college. Tied them the first game 4-4. Won the second game 8-2. So all in all, played pretty well against them. Swung the bats well. Played some really good defense. And overall, our guys pitched well. So, all in all, I think it was improvement from the first week. Although we played pretty well against Brunswick. They're a good team too, and we lost two close games to them. They're a good junior college team. So, I think it's we're at the stage right now where we've been together for about 6 weeks now, and again, like I said before, we've got some things we need to work on for sure. But we've also, I think, shown some really good, encouraging signs of being a pretty good club.
Yeah, well, congratulations on I guess a historic first Kingsman Baseball Academy win this last weekend, Coach.
There you go.
Um,
There you go. Oh, it's not part of the record book yet, but we'll take it for sure.
there you go.
I can tell
That's
you winning's a whole lot more fun than losing.
Well, that's good. You certainly got to experience that this weekend. Just wanted to ask about P27. Obviously, the proximity of that academy, only an hour or two from the Charlotte area, with them being close by, and as you continue to grow the academy, is that kind of be a little bit of an indicator of the progression of Kingsmen as how well you can continue to stack up with them, assuming you keep playing each other in the fall and the spring?
Yeah, I think so. We'll be playing them every year in the spring for sure as part of the league play. And maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know whether we talked about that the last episode or not, but
Not yet.
yeah, academy baseball is changing dramatically just in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So, and we're excited about being part of that. But yeah, I think they're certainly a good measuring stick. You know, uh, I was just thinking a little earlier today that, they've been in existence since, for probably 6 or 7 years now, and they've recruited. They have 70 guys, and this is our first year, and we hung right with them for the most part. And so, that's encouraging. But it's also, I think it gave our guys a little bit of an indication of where we want to get to and where we need to get to be one of the best.
For sure. And then just talking about the weekend games against, did you say Sagahatchee?
Sakahatchee.
Sakahatchee.
Sakahatchee, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning the local names, you know.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. But as far as a couple of players that really stepped up, I know you said the bats came alive in that second game. I had Oz talk about some of the pitchers last week, but who are a couple of the bats that are really swinging well for the Kingsmen?
Uh, I say before we talk that, I do want to mention maybe one pitcher in particular. Uh, when we played P27, right? Brandon Falk, uh, Canadian kid, threw two shutout innings against them. And again, they're a really good club. Really pleased with how he threw. Noah Entricken threw fairly well against them in the first inning. Just got behind a couple of guys, but I thought all in all, those two guys threw pretty well. Um, Offensively, probably the guy that's swung the bat as well as anybody is Montgomery Hart, infielder out of Warren, Ohio. Um, I think he's had probably he's played he's played 4 games. I think he's probably got 7 hits, right? Swung the bat well. Jake Donaldson out of North Canton, Ohio, had a really big hit in the first game, big 2-run double to put us back into the lead in that game. Owen Beatrice swung the bat well, didn't have much to show for it. Owen had a double against P27 and probably in the next 3 games probably hit 4 balls right in the button that were outs. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's a great game of baseball. Sometimes you hit it on the button, it's right to somebody. Sometimes you flare it and you get a hit. And so, and then Jack Curtis swung the bat real well. That was really good to see. Jack wasn't able to play the first weekend. He's had a little bit of an elbow arm problem, and really finally felt he was able to swing the bat. So he swung a little bit last week during the week and felt fine. So he played against P27 and against Sakahatchee all 3 games. Had probably 4 or 5 hits. So he swung it pretty well.
Cool. Well, let's move away from the actual game action. I really wanted to get in and dissect the day-to-day for this academy. It's really interesting. Just the whole team's living in the same complex. It seems like you've got a lot of local options for strength and conditioning, for going out and practicing in a variety of different locations. Of course, there's some local churches that I know you guys have been going to. Just kind of walk me through the day to day. We'll start with the baseball side of things first. What is this academy doing on non-game days?
Well, so one of the reasons we chose Gastonia as our location, there were 2 primary reasons. Caramon Health Park is a beautiful facility, and the ability to have that as our home field, even though it's fairly expensive to rent, was a big plus. And then our indoor hitting and strength and conditioning facility, 704 Sports Academy, right? Weston Lawing owns that. Weston is the younger brother of Lincoln Lawing, our chaplain. And Weston's also one of our assistant coaches. But a big thing for us was he's a nationally certified strength and conditioning specialist. So that was his major in college. He's not just a weight guy. He's a nationally certified strength and conditioning specialist. You have to be certified yearly to do that. So he designs a strength and conditioning program for every one of our guys based on their position, based on their body type, based on their age, all of those things together. And then he designs a strength and conditioning program for them, and Preston designs a nutrition program for them. Because that's really how you get your strength and become the best you can be. Both of those are really important. So that was a big reason why we chose Gastonia, because 704 Sports Academy in Weston. So just like today, if you look at today, we went to church yesterday at Elevation. And it was an off day for us. So today we lift Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless we play on Friday. This past Friday we played at Sakahatchee, so we lifted on Saturday. So we lift Monday, Wednesday, and Friday generally. And lift in 2 groups. Our pitchers lift in 1 group because our lifts are a little different than position players. And then our hitters lift in another group. And so this morning, we had our first group lifting at 9:30, and our second group lifting at 10:45. All right, so they're in there for an hour and 15 minutes. doing their lifts, doing their conditioning. It isn't just lifting, it's dynamic stuff that we're doing, quickness, strength, and agility stuff. So it's a big part of what we do. So we do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Um, we have study hall every day, and we'll talk academics later, I know, but we have study hall for an hour. The players have to attend study hall for 1 hour every day. That's here at the apartments. And then we practice from generally 6:30 till 10 each night, Monday through Thursday. All right. And so, that practice is, we do some team practice, we do some individual stuff, we do position stuff. It's a different practice every day and never looks exactly the same. So, that's the baseball side of it, pretty much. And then on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, when we're not lifting, we do some one-on-one stuff. If there's maybe a particular player we want to work on something, or maybe let's say we want to work with the middle infielders on double play feeds or something like that, we will do that in the mornings on Tuesday and Thursday. So, it's a pretty comprehensive program. But by and large, we lift 3 days a week, and we practice 4 nights a week for about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. And then we're playing a couple days a week. So it's a pretty busy schedule, but that's why they're here. I told all of them when I recruited them, you're basically coming to college before you're going to college from a baseball perspective, because this is the same kind of schedule, of program that they're going to see when they get to college. So our whole goal is to prepare them for that. So that's what the baseball side looks like.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot going on and a good variety of different things you guys are trying to accomplish. With it being the first month or so of getting the players working as a collective unit, I was wondering if there's any emphasis on any certain parts of the practice process, whether that be something specific in conditioning or on the field. Is there anything that you guys have really been emphasizing as a coaching staff to the guys?
Well, we got 26 guys right now. They're from 26 different programs. They've heard from 26 different coaches. So trying to get everybody on the same page is probably the biggest thing. And we've done a good job of that. We're there. We're all on the same page now. I think communication is huge. Base running is huge. But it's all, baseball is a team sport, but it's actually individuals playing a team sport. The pitcher's got to do his job, right? And then the catcher's got to do his job. And if the ball's hit, we got to work with the shortstop and the second baseman and, the outfielders, and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be on every play, because every play is different and everybody has a responsibility every play. So, all of that, we do a lot of that with team defense, defensive BP, we call it. And then we have offensive BP, and then we hit in groups, and we do individual position work. I mean, it's, again, the practices are rarely the same. There are some components that look the same, but we're doing something different most of the days. Maybe we're working with pitchers on fielding their position, or maybe we have the whole team working on picks or bunt defense or first and third defense. So there's just a bunch of stuff to go over, and everybody's coming from a different arena and different coaching. So trying to get them all on the same page. And, one of the things that was really neat about this weekend, in the 3 games we played against P27 and Salkehatchie, we worked pretty hard the last couple of weeks on our pickoffs, right? And I think we picked 4 guys off in those 3 games. And that was something that was, satisfying for the guys to see, hey, yeah, we spent time on this, but it actually can help us win a ball game, right?
Of course. And then I know we're running low on time here, Coach, but I did want to ask you about the spiritual aspect of the academy. Of course, you don't require your players to be Christian, but without a doubt, there's opportunities for the guys to learn and grow in their faith. As you mentioned, you went to Elevation for Church yesterday. Just kind of walk me through what spiritual growth looks like on this team, whether it's stuff before the games or daily throughout the week. What does that look like?
Yeah, our whole goal for our guys, again, as you said, we don't require them to be Christians, but we do tell them up front, hey, we're a faith-based academy. We are going to have team Bible studies. We're going to go to church together occasionally. So, yeah, our whole goal is to help them understand what it really means to be a Christian. That's not going to church or reading your Bible. Both of those things are important. it's not a list of do's and don'ts, but it's having a personal relationship with Christ. So our whole goal for them is, as we do our chapels, Lincoln Lawing is our chaplain, does a great job. You know, Link. Uh, we have 2 chapels a week. All right. And that'll be a Bible study or talking about a subject or something like that. Lincoln usually does one. I do one. Uh, and then when we play a game, most of the games before the game, or sometimes even before practice, uh, we got a minute with the link. We call it the link, right? And he has 1 minute. He shares just maybe a word or a verse or something like that. And then this Sunday was the first time we had a chance to go to church together. We went to Elevation, and Elevation's a great church, my home church, but it's different from a lot of churches, right? Because the music's fantastic, and it's loud, and it's like you're going to a concert and church breaks out, right? And but the guys, I think, loved it. They enjoyed it. We're just trying to get them to understand what it means to be a Christian, right? And so they can make a decision. You know, that's our goal. They all have to. We all of us, whether we're young, old, or whatever, have to decide. Hey, is following Christ something we want to do? And so, you know, that's what we try to do for the most part. You know, I was just talking this morning. We're going to start planning our mission trip to the Dominican Republic, which is another huge part of our, as you well know, of our spiritual journey. So that's kind of what it looks like.
Okay. And then as we wrap up here, Coach, what's the schedule look like for this weekend? I know there's been a couple new updates. I guess I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, yeah. We actually planning. We're practicing Monday through Thursday, lifting on Friday, and then we had a doubleheader Saturday and a doubleheader Sunday. I just found out last night the team that we were supposed to play the doubleheader on Sunday has actually folded for the fall due to some other concerns outside of baseball, and so we're playing Ray's Collegiate Academy. They're out of Myrtle Beach. They're a post grad team. All right. And we're playing them. We were scheduled to play the team that folded on Sunday and raised collegiate on Saturday. No, the team that folded on Saturday and raised collegiate on Sunday. And now what we're trying to do is move raised collegiate to Saturday, because that's at Belmont Abbey College. We want to play there. We want our guys a chance to be seen by their coaches and some other coaches. So as of right now, I think it's going to be a doubleheader on Saturday at Belmont Abbey at 2 o'clock. So, and then next week's going to be our fall break. So the guys are looking forward to that, right? I think next Thursday through Sunday, we're going to be off. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to that too, right?
Hey, that's not a bad thing. Well, yeah, make sure to stay tuned on social media for updates regarding scheduling for this weekend. I'll be out there with the broadcast call either Saturday or Sunday, whenever
Yep,
we can make that happen. But stay tuned on social media. Coach, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to
absolutely.
talking to you more next week.
Looking forward to seeing you this weekend and getting you out here, Griff.
All right, we're going to step aside here on the Kingsman Corner. When we get back, we will talk with Preston Hudak about everything going on from nutrition to recruiting to everything Preston's involved with here at the Academy. But we'll be right back here on the Kingsman Corner. Before we continue with the show, I want to give a big shout out to 704 Sports Academy. 704 Sports Academy is a 10,000 square foot fully turf sports facility in Gastonia, North Carolina. The facility features 7 full-length retractable batting cages, 2 pitching mounds, and weight room training equipment. Coach Weston Lawing and his staff are committed to the total development of baseball and softball players of all ages in the greater Gaston area, striving to create an enjoyable environment while challenging young athletes both physically and mentally, giving them the tools they need to compete. 704 Sports Academy is a proud partner of the Kingsmen Baseball Academy. Back to the Kingsmen Corner. Welcome back here to the Kingsman Corner. It's been a couple of days coming at you from Gastonia, North Carolina. Coach Preston Hudak on the show. Preston, thanks for having me out here in North Carolina, and thanks for letting me have you here on the show as a guest.
Yeah, dude. I've been wondering when you're gonna come this way to check out what we got, man. So to have you here in the flesh, man, it's been really sweet so far.
Yeah, no, I'm having a great time. Got in last night and looking forward to a good weekend of baseball. Just wanted to get your thoughts. I've been kind of getting the tour, seeing everything, but how's being out in Gastonia? I know you're familiar with the area prior to the academy.
Sure. Yeah, it's a great location. We are 30 minutes west of Charlotte, and it's kind of turned into a suburb of Charlotte. just with the traffic overflow. So we live right off of a main road here called Franklin, and I mean it's everything that you need is right here. We got plenty of places to eat, good grub. There's a bowling alley, there's an arcade, so the guys have some things to do. We're all settled in nice.
That's cool. And it sounds like all the guys, everybody involved is all in the same apartment building. How's the living situation?
It's been cool. We all have apartments. Each one has four guys to an apartment. There's a couple that have three only. Guys have the option to get a single bedroom if they want to pay double for rent, but they're all living here, man. I seriously, dude, I can't imagine it being any other way with how close these guys have been able to get here in these apartments, just living together, kind of getting the dorm style feel of college before college. I think it's really created an environment for us to really grow and bond together as a team. And we set a standard pretty early on of what it means to be a Kingsman and just holding yourself to that regard. And they're leaders in the community already. So I think we fit in pretty nice here.
That's cool. Yeah, I know I've been able to walk around. Coach Osborne's kind of pointed out, okay, this is where some of the guys are. A couple of the guys are down the way. But how are the apartments? Because I'll show our audience here. The first thing that struck me is how tall these ceilings are.
Oh,
What
yeah.
you said they're about what 18, 20 feet high?
Yeah, something like that, man. Reaching up to 20 feet. This place actually used to be a textile mill back in the early 1900s.
That's cool.
And they kept the bones, like we got cement floors. Interesting enough, I got this little wooden panel just kind of sticking up here. It's kind of like I it just has a really nice different feel, like there's a brick wall over here with a nice big window. So it's pretty rustic, but it makes for a pretty cool aesthetic, I think.
So it's an older feel, but it's all remodeled. It's all pretty nice and new.
Yes, sir. Everything state of the art, stainless steel appliances, man. This place is in good shape.
That's cool. Well, talk to me about recruiting because I know you had a huge part in this. You've been talking to guys on guys on guys trying to fill this roster. What was that process like?
Yes, sir. That's been a lot of fun for me, man, because I feel like it was a blessing being able to get to know guys through these conversations before they actually got here. And I got a good sense of who they were before they even stepped foot in this academy and what we have to offer them. It's been a cool process. We definitely had to dip our hands into some different I guess, ideas in order to find these guys. Just being a startup company, people didn't know about us, so we really had to go out and get it ourselves. And the first thing that we did, we went to some websites like PBR, it's Prep Baseball, and we went to Perfect Game as well. And both these websites have national rankings that are kind of split up per position, per state. And so we just really pounded the East Coast, trying to find really good guys that are competing at a high level already. And we comprised lists based on what we need and just started reaching out to them individually and had some success there. We got some really good, highly ranked guys. Actually, we had a couple of Zoom calls with some ranked guys who, man, my dad and I, we thought that they could definitely play for us, but just getting to know kind of their character, we ended up not pulling the trigger on those, since we're just looking for the right kind of dudes. So that was the first way. Once we ran out of those lists, and I really took to social media to try to find some other guys because there's so much good talent out there that is under the radar because they don't go to these perfect game tournaments and maybe they're not just on the map in terms of like social media presence. So I went to X and just started reaching out to dudes. Most guys now they put video out of themselves, just some highlights, giving good pop times or exit velos and just diagrams of their swing and all that good stuff. And so I know what to look for, and I also try to see like how they carry themselves and what they tweeted about. I think that's really important too. And so I would just start researching different guys and going to different accounts, following different people, trying to get a sense of who they are on there. And man, if everything kind of lined up to where I thought they could play at the next level and they seem to carry themselves in a really good way and in a way that we're looking for, man, I reach out to them and just try to start having a conversation with them. And I got to tell them why it is that I'm reaching out. What we have to offer our guys that's a little bit different than any other academy with the faith-based aspect and just started to get organic traction through that, man. And so that was the main two ways, you know. And once we got some traction with those guys, they got interested after talking to their parents. We set up Zoom calls with my dad and myself, and that way we just get to look them in the eye, see what kind of dude they are, see what kind of family they come from, answer any questions that they have, talk about tuition prices and scholarship opportunities, all that good stuff, and then they come for a visit if they want to, or they just commit right there. And the cool thing about it too, man, once we got the ball rolling, the first 10 commits were pretty tough to get because at that point you don't know if it's going or not. But after the dominoes fell and we got more and more to commit, friend that our guys started reaching out to their friends and their friends reached out to their buddies, and so we got some extra traction that way. But it was all organic. It was a fun process. I know my dad and I really appreciated getting to know the guys before they got here.
Yeah, certainly quite the process constructing a roster like this with the issues of, first year, as you mentioned, difficult to kind of get guys bought in on that process. But I wanted to ask, looking at the roster, of course, you mentioned pounding that East Coast, trying to get guys Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. It seems like the roster's a pretty good collection of a lot of different areas. There's Utah, Oklahoma, even a couple guys from up north in Canada. Was that something you wanted to accomplish as well, a diverse kind of base of different locations where these guys came from?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We started pretty local at first, and then we just started expanding. Really hit the East Coast, but my dad and I, we got to talking about what we want this team to look like. And I think cultural diversity is so important with a group of young men, and to be able to get guys from different backgrounds to come be a part of this. It's kind of like a melting pot. We all get to learn from each other and where we come from. And, we got that kid out in Utah, PJ Oliveira. We got a couple of Canadian guys, Brandon Falk and Mason Ritzema. They bring a whole nother just level and attitude to the game. And I think it creates for a lot richer experience for our guys.
For sure. I wanted to ask you about just your experience coaching, not just with the academy, but in general with the Kingsmen. Of course, when people hear coach's son, normally they think of maybe, the kid playing shortstop out there that maybe
Yep.
shouldn't be. But of course, you're not even a player. You're on the coaching staff. What has this been like for you coaching under your dad and being able to have that family aspect to it?
It's something I'll be able to hang on to forever, dude. Um, Baseball's always been a part of my life. Same thing with my dad. He's been a baseball guy, and I got away from the game for a little bit and just being able to come back under these terms to be able to, I played for my dad growing up, which was fun, and I was the shortstop on the team back then. Um, so I got to learn a lot of the game through him back when I was playing. But now that I'm on the other side and I'm coaching, I get to pick his brain on why he does what he does in terms of a coaching mindset. And I feel like I'm learning a lot about that. Just feeding off of him, dude, and I think he's feeding off of me too. We got a pretty good dynamic, him and I. He's pretty intense, and he's not afraid to show it, and I'm more the calm, mellow guy in the dugout. So I think we have a really good mix, us two. But man, just having family around, having family, having Jesus, being able to do these with these kids, man. I think at the end of the day, I mean, what more could I ask for? There's that old saying, like, if you love what you do for work, you never work a day in your life. And I feel like I'm right at home there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to watch you two in the dugout working together, commanding and pioneering this team. It's been really cool to get to witness. What's your goal with this project? As you, I mean, obviously, right now you're on the assistant staff. I mean, at the end of the day, your dad's not going to be around forever. I'm not sure if the plan eventually would be for you to take over, but what's your goal for the Kingsman Baseball Academy?
Yeah, man. Well, if my dad would have it, I think he'd be coaching this thing for another 50, 60 years. Um, Man, I got a big vision for it. Obviously, this first year is just getting the ball rolling and really just rooting this thing in the right way. We try to do things the right way. I think that's important, especially starting something off. But man, I'd like it to be a platform to reach as many young men for Jesus Christ as possible through using baseball as a platform to do that. Obviously, our goal on the ball field is to get guys bigger, faster, stronger, increase their baseball IQ to know how to succeed in college before they get there. We want to help them get recruited as well. That's obviously going to be at the forefront as well. But I think our big mission statement, man, what can we do for Jesus Christ through all this? And to me, that means having three teams here locally. I think that'd be a nice goal to have. But in terms of internationally, man, we've been going to the Dominican Republic with our summer team for so many years now, and we have great relationships down there. I could see us opening up a Kingsman Academy in the Dominican, and we're starting to get some relationships going with people in the Czech Republic. Haven't made our way to Japan yet, but international ministry with baseball, being able to couple both of that, I think is very reasonable. And just given too, man, with the way that high school academics and high school baseball and sports in general is going, it's going to be in that direction of the academy moving forward, it seems like, just because of recruiting and the NCAA portal, guys aren't getting recruited like they should. So I think academies are on the rise, and man, what better way to use that as a platform for Jesus Christ?
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't have said it better myself. I think there's a lot of growth and a lot of ability for Kingsman baseball to really branch out in the future. I'm excited to see what you guys are able to do with it.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. All right. Well, Preston, if you'll be back on at some point, we'd love to have you on again. Thanks for joining us. It's been awesome hearing from you.
All right, man. Part two coming soon, maybe. Who knows? Griff, I
We'll see.
appreciate you, dude.
We'll see what we can do. Well, that's gonna wrap up the Kingsman Corner episode 2. For Preston Hudak, Joe Hudak, I'm Griffin Leonard. We'll see you next time. We'll be back next week, and look out for some broadcasts this weekend from Gastonia, the Kingsman Baseball Academy home opener coming up here on Saturday. Have a good
Let's
one,
go.
folks.
Bye-bye.